Number 3, super important, long and short. You need to know the long and the short of it. There's 2 things you need to know. You have to know about how brands grow. It's a boring book, but it's everything. And you have to know the long and the short of it. It's the most important theory of the last 20 years. You can't manage brands without those 2 assets. They've changed everything about brand management, and they're correct. So, long and short. Peterfield Les Binet wrote this monograph. So they were old when I was a young guy, so it must be fucking ancient now, right? So Les and Pete are basically advertising statisticians. They judge the Effies of the UK. And about 30 years ago, they started going, we've got all this data, let's analyze it. And they've been analyzing it with incredible results from an enormous data set for more than 2 decades. And it's made them, quite famous. So let's boil it all down to a single chart, the famous chart. It's an important chart for you. So they looked at growth, what you want this year, sales uplift over base. And they looked at how growth happens over time. And what they observed is 2 different trajectories. The first trajectory is the short of it. We would call it performance marketing. We spend a little bit of money on a digital campaign, some form of sales promotion, and the sales of our product go, woo! The minute, though, we take our foot off that investment pedal, our sales go back to where they were. It's not a bad thing, because the marginally small amount of money we put into that campaign has returned itself many times over in that sales increase. ROI. There is a second trajectory to growth, slower, more incremental, which they would call the long of it and we would call brand building. It takes time, yeah? It takes time, and it builds slowly. There are different ratios of how much of your money you should invest in long-term brand building versus short-term performance. It depends on your category and it depends on other factors, okay? The original data was 60-40, but it was taken from B to C. It actually varies greatly, okay? I'll give you a quick jump ahead. All of you are not spending enough on brands, but we'll come back to that point in a minute, okay? It's actually more complex than that. There's a wonderful firm called Tracksuit based in New Zealand. They have a calculator. If you search for Tracksuit calculator, you can answer about 12 questions about your business and your category, and you'll get an actual, using Pete and Leslie's numbers, an actual prediction of what your optimum balance will be. Yeah? Almost all of you will do that, and your response will be, fuck me, that's a lot of money to spend on brand. Yeah? Because you're all under... So let me be frank with you, because I love you and I want you to get value. You're all under-investing in brand, and you're all going to make less money because of it, because of ROI. Yeah? That's not an arguable point. If you don't have the right number of investments in brand, you are making less money. Yeah? It's as simple as that. So why is it so difficult? Pete's chart makes perfect sense when you look at it in abstract. The problem is the time involved in the brand building stuff is 2, 3, 4 years before you see the full return on brand. None of you look at the world from a 2, 3, 4 year point of view. Understandably, you're all here in this 12-month cage, yeah? It makes sense. We do things annually, right? And as maybe quarterly, but certainly annually. When you look at the lines annually, it doesn't make sense. The world's going to end, yeah? In 12 months' time, you'd put all your money on performance marketing, except it's not going to end. But what we do is we do a 12-month view, we overspend on performance, we underspend on brand, and then a year later, we do it again. And then we do it again. Yeah? It's Groundhog Day. Yeah? We keep making the same mistakes. This is the corporate story of why they're losing money. Yeah? Because they don't see the future. As the great Peter Drucker said, you have to produce results in the short term, but you also have to produce results in the long term. And the long term is not simply the adding up of short terms. The long term is not simply the adding up of short terms. If you're good, yeah? If you're good. All right, next one. Let's get going. Got a drink soon. Media. But one thing I will tell you, in an exclusive, is we can finally answer the age-old question, digital or traditional, which is best? We have the data. You ready? Offline or online? Any guesses? Which is the more effective? I'm not going to trick you again. It's offline. It's online, sorry. Online, on average, according to Analytic Partners' massive database, gives you about a 30% better return on your overall investment dollars. So we answer that question, except there's a third option, we put them together, we're better together, okay? We're better together. And just proof of that, my favorite chart of all time, Analytic Partners looked at thousands of campaigns. About 29% of campaigns only have one channel. Could be TV, could be Facebook. They then looked at the 31% who had two channels, they controlled for budget, and they looked at the equivalent to ROI from those campaigns. What they found was, same budget, divided across two channels, 19% improvement. When they looked at three channels, a 23% improvement over a single channel campaign. Four channels, 31%. Five channels, 35%. It keeps going. Yeah? Twat poll, whatever we call it, right? Diversity works, right? Diversity works. We've forgotten the secret formula of integration, yeah? The secret formula is A times B is greater than 2A or 2B. What do I mean by that? I mean, you're better off having a bit of TV and a bit of digital video. It's always going to be better than putting all of your money into digital video or all of your money into TV. Yeah? It's been the case since the start. Diversity wins. Diversity always wins.